Is I kind of liken it to what one of my broadcast partners said on the air the other day. He asked, "Tom, are you sure you're being inducted or indicted into the hall?" I'm like, "Well, that's a good question. I don't know, but no, it's a big honor. I mean, it's something that you never think about getting into this business. Just something that I've been coming to these for years and thought, man, what a great organization to, someday, if you're lucky enough, if you stay around long enough, if you're alive, to get into, and here it is. So I'm just extremely blessed.
Many of these people that we're talking to, they are either retired from their sport or it's been years since they've even been in their profession, and you're still going at it. So what does it mean to you to be able to still be at it to this day?
Well, number one, I don't know how to spell retired, so that's not going to happen for a lot of years, I can tell you that. No, I hope to do this as long as I'm healthy, and I love it. I mean, I absolutely love it. I don't think that'll ever leave me, but as long as I'm healthy enough to do it, and the team wants me, the university wants me, I'll do this forever. I just love doing the games. It's, from the prep to actually going with the team and broadcasting the games, it's a joy for me.
Is there any certain call that you really look back on?
One of my biggest joys was the 2001 Final Four, Cheryl Burnett's team when Jackie Stiles, the year she had, breaking the scoring record. I mean, that whole thing was just a great ride and something I'll never forget. But, the last 7 or 8 years has been a joy too, with a couple of Sweet 16s and that special class that they had, Bryce Caleb and Jasmine Franklin and those players. That was a lot of fun as well.
All right, so Tom, I'm glad you talked about the love of what we do, right? The three of us actually are in the 1%, I say, of people that don't just tolerate their jobs, but we love what we do. Can you just talk about where you kind of got your love for doing what we do and why it's cultivated every day?
Probably like you guys, I started playing. And I thought, when I was young, maybe I'll have a chance to play forever. That realized that wasn't going to happen. So I figured, what am I going to do here? I still love this. I want to keep doing it if I can. I thought maybe I'll get into officiating. But somebody asked me to PA an event one time, a high school event one time, and the bug hit me. It's like, oh, this is a lot of fun. I can actually talk a little bit. Not well, but I can talk a little bit, so maybe I'll get into broadcasting, and the rest is history. But it started off, as an athlete playing. That's where I got the love, the original bug to do this, and it continues now.
Now, for somebody who's been behind the microphone asking all the questions, right? Is there anything special that maybe you'll think back on when you're up there giving your speech, or is there anything certain that just stands out to you from the time you've been doing this?
I've got my old grade school coach here, who really was probably the biggest influence to me on anything I've ever done. If I had any success at all, he's here from Illinois, and I'm going to talk a little bit about him. Don't have a lot of time to do it, but I want to make sure that I mention what he did for me. He made me part of his family, took me to my first high school games when I was in, a little fart, and he really brought the love of the game to me, and then it was just a matter of me getting on the court, practicing and playing, and from that, obviously, once I stopped, getting into broadcasting. But I'm going to talk about him and what he meant to me.
All right, last one actually. I've asked the other guys this. What's in the water with the Ozarks? There's so many great athletes, right? From programs to players. I mean, what's in the water? Is it the Midwestern values? What is it?
I just think it's a great place to live. I mean, who wouldn't want to live here, play ball here, grow up here? I just think it's the area, just a great area. And since I've been here, the athletics has really increased as well, really gotten a lot better.